Alright guys, welcome back to the next episode on this Pokemon Go series, and today we are going to be looking at two of the new Pokemon that are coming to raids in the next coming weeks. So you do have Ho-Oh, which does also have its shiny. You're looking at a 2,207 IV, to get 100% IV on this Pokemon. For weaknesses, two types, you're looking at Rock type with a 2.5 times attack against it, and also Water and Electric as a 1.6. So you're mostly going to want to be looking at Rock type Pokemon for this. When looking at how many people you need, it is going to be 2 to 4 players needed to take this down. If you do have a high level Rock type team, you should easily be able to take this down as a duo. So let's go over some of the moves that Ho-Oh will have when raiding. It will have Steel Wing, Solar Beam, Extrasensory, Hidden Power, Incinerate, Brave Bird, and then Fire Blast. And I also do think it will have Sacred Fire, which obviously is Ho-Oh's signature move. Doesn't say if it will have Sacred Fire here, but you would assume so. Looking at, obviously, its typing, you are going to want Rock-type Pokemon, just like you did against Charizard. So you are looking at Mega Aerodactyl as being your top Pokemon to have in this raid, obviously, to boost everyone else's attack in the raid. Plus, also, you are getting that Mega Energy and... more candy and more XL candy from having that Mega out, because it is part flying. Looking at some of the other Pokemon that is good for this raid, you are looking at Rampardos as the second best Pokemon to use, and then also a Tyranitar with Rock Throw and Meteor Beam as the third best. Now, quite confusing as to how these are higher than Shadow Pokemon. I just think they've got that high of an attack stat that they do more damage overall. I would have thought Tyranitar is up there, but you can kind of see the power creep within this game. The Pokemon that come out later in the year seem to be a bit higher than even the Shadow Pokemon of Gen 2. So definitely maybe a rebalance needed in the future. However, Shadow-type Pokemon to bring to this raid, you are looking at Shadow Tyranitar, Shadow Aggron, and Shadow Aerodactyl. You could also have Shadow Omastar and Shadow Golem. They are all good, viable candidates to have in this raid to do a lot of damage. Looking at some easier ones to obtain, you are looking at Rhyperior. Rhyperior is a really good Pokemon to have. Does come around quite a lot with the Safari zones, so most people do have quite a good Rhyhorn in their account. Obviously, Tyranitar is a big one. They've had com days for Tyranitar. It's featured in every single Go Fest. It's featured in most tours as like a weird Pokemon you can get from Incense. So definitely a very good one, and obviously a easy one for people to find. And then you can also use Landorus, which is a weird one because it doesn't have Stab for its Rock-type moves, which is Rock Throw and Rock Slide. But it will still do really well in these raids. Now, one extra one to add to this is Gigalith, which has recently had a com day. It was about a few months ago now, 4 months ago, 5 months ago. It's quite low down on the list. It's even below Aggron. However, it does do quite a lot of damage, and everyone, even if you started playing the account recently, you should have a good Gigalith from that com day. So you should be sorted for taking this down in a relatively easy time frame. Alright guys, let's move on to our second raid of the video, and we'll be looking at Mega Medicham. This Pokemon does only have a one-time weakness to 3 typings, which is Flying, Ghost, and Fairy. This raid should take about 2 to 4 people to take down as well, and when you were catching it, you were looking for a CP of 1425, I believe, for a 100% IV. The moves this Pokemon will use in the raid battle will be Psycho Cut, Psychic, Counter, Ice Punch, Dynamic Punch, and Power Up Punch. So it won't be doing that much damage to your Pokemon, but try and look at a good set of Pokemon around it, especially if you are going to go in with some Megas, which we're going to go over right now. So, the three main Megas here that you'll be using is Mega Gengar, Mega Gardevoir, and Mega Banette. Obviously, the two here that are really easily accessible are Mega Gengar and Mega Gardevoir. One, because they both had com days, but two, they are always accessible. Especially Gardevoir since the Hoenn Tour as well. You should have had a lot of route spawning. But I would definitely go with the Gengar. And we will go through why I think that now. So, for Shadow Pokemon, most of the Pokemon here are flying types. So you've got Shadow Ho-Oh, Shadow Honchkrow, and Shadow Moltres. Very hard Pokemon to get hold of, especially if it's a Shadow Ho-Oh, because you will have Sacred Power Plus on the Shadow Ho-Oh. However, one of the best Shadow Pokemon on here is Shadow Mewtwo, with the moves Psycho Cut and also Shadow Ball, which is really good. Obviously, getting that Shadow Ball in with extra damage should do a lot of damage. However, not many people are going to have a really powerful Shadow Mewtwo, especially with the most recent event of it not having a guaranteed 2-star for this Pokemon. So you could have got a really bad one or a really good one. However, looking over some of these, you are looking at Chandelure as being the best normal type Pokemon on this list. Now, we did just have a huge com day for this last year that did bring out Poltergeist, I think the move was. But apparently Shadow Ball is still a better move for this Pokemon. So definitely get your Chandelures a bit higher up, maybe to try and get to around 2,500, 3,000 CP. Just before you hit that XL Candy mark, and you should be good to go. You also have normal Gengar with Shadow Claw and Shadow Ball doing really well. And then also Giratina's Origin form with Shadow Claw and Shadow Force. If you were to go down the flying type Pokemon route, you are looking at a Mega Pidgeot or a Mega Aerodactyl as your Mega Pokemon, and then you are looking at Honchkrow, Moltres. You do have the new one, Lunala, which would be good for both with Air Slash and Shadow Ball. And then I believe you're looking at Mega Charizard as well. However, I would stick to Ghost. There's a lot more viable options from a team in that category of Pokemon, and you should be fine with taking this Pokemon down relatively easy. So, let's go over the strategy for getting not only a few Mega Medichams in your team, so you can obviously have that Pokemon in your Mega Dex, and also have a Pokemon for a future event to get that more XL Candy and more Candy. As this looks like it will be out for a week, I would be looking at doing maybe 4 Mega Medicham raids to get 800 Mega Energy, or even more, even 900 if you did get that 225, depends on how many people are in that raid with you. Then you should be able to get 1 Medicham up to a good state, maybe level 2 halfway in, so you're looking at potentially having another couple of weeks after that. But then also I'd be looking at getting a few Ho-Oh encounters. Ho-Oh is a really good fire type and is still one of the really good metas to this day, especially the Apex Shadow Ho-Oh, which I know some people did purify, which I'm never going to do. Personally, I think Shadow Pokemon just do so much more damage, there's no need to purify, unless it's for an event, and I'd use one of the smaller Pokemon to do that you catch quite a lot. So yeah, I'd be looking at maybe getting 4 Medicham raids done, and then 3 Ho-Oh raids, hoping to get that shiny, because I still haven't got one. But we will be doing some raids on the channel for this, because I will be getting that shiny Ho-Oh. I'm hoping to get them within 10 raid passes, if I'm really honest. I don't really want to go any further, because obviously I do want to get 3 mega maxed out Medichams ready to go for GoFest, which I think is going to be a huge event this year. I think there's going to be so much more emphasis on the in-person event. So if it is announced to be in the UK, I will be going to that event no matter where it is, and I'll be buying a ticket. If it's in a different country, I will have to see about funding, but we will see. Thank you all for watching this information video. If you do like these kind of videos, please leave a like, a comment, and subscribe to the channel for more of this kind of videos in the future. See you guys in the next one.